All right, there you go.
All right. All right, here we go. So that's not important. All right, so we're talking about, right, training nutrition, because Dawn was curious about, okay, what should I kind of grab or what's quick that I can eat before I train? And I did a little bit more research because I'm trying to figure out some different stuff. And this is something that we've kind of always done, and I just maybe never necessarily put two and two together. So I kind of want to share it with you. So this is specifically with gears towards like fat loss, okay? Protecting muscle, still wanting to lose some body fat, and have energy for your training. So main keys here, right, is the protein. So protein's gonna be huge. We'll talk about that like in the next slide a little bit more. And then strategic carbs, that's gonna be kind of ties in with the experimenting thing. So you gotta like find out, like this whole thing is about experimenting and figuring out kind of how something can work and to fit into your lifestyle and if it can and how, right? So you always have to kind of experiment and be mindful of how is this affecting me? How can I tweak it? How can I learn from it? And then taking it, you know, moving forward from there. You always want to have something that's easily digestible, especially if you're doing something before training. That's why I have this 90 to 30 minute period. So that's going to kind of depend, right? Something that you have more time to digest. You can have more of like fiber, a little bit heavier of a meal, a little bit more food, right? Something a little bit fattier of content, something that's closer to the workout. You're not going to want something like that because it's going to sit heavy right in your stomach. Uh-oh. And,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right. And we all feel like, I don't know, I'm sure you've been there once or twice where it's like sitting heavy and you feel like you're going to like, and that's like the worst, okay? Here we go, before we get into that. So, like I said, like I was doing some digging into some research and stuff, and pre-workout, and I was actually in a study in college that had to do with this, can increase, never hear of like EPOC or like afterburn, right? You always hear about that in like the Beachbody commercials about like, oh, you'll get this amazing afterburn after you train for up to X amount of hours, right? And that's true, right? Training can cause, you know, you to burn up to 72 hours after you train, depending on how intensive it is, type of training. But including the pre-workout can, what's the word, expedite that, can make it even more, right, by adding in the right pre-workout. So protein, as we all know, or like, you know, we've heard before, has a really big role in building muscle, right? And has a lot to do with making sure that you're not breaking down muscle tissue while you're training, as well as it has like, a good hormonal profile, meaning like it affects the hormones that you want to be affected that will affect your body positively, right? So it's not going to jack up insulin too much. It's not going to put you into like fat storing mode, but it's going to help make sure that you have the building blocks there for, you know, protecting from building, breaking down the muscle. So this study that was recently done, they took two people. They took one group of people and they gave them 30 minutes before they trained, basically carbohydrates, about 20 grams carbohydrates. And then the second group, they gave them 20 grams of protein. What they found is that the group that had eaten protein 30 minutes before were able to burn an extra 100 calories in the afterburn, after the recovery piece, right? And remember, that's the biggest piece of our day. So we want to be burning as many possible calories as we can in the 23 hours of our day. We're not just looking at that 1 hour of our training. So obviously, is that a lot? I don't think so. Is that something that we need to get crazy over? No, but it's always good to kind of know, like, all right, how can I maybe tweak something if I know I'm being a little bit more mindful of it? So, and this is why I kind of have this on here. They found that keeping the carbohydrates away from the pre-workout 2 hours before, like trying to keep that window free of carbs, is where that kind of golden 100 extra calories came after. Now, the science says this, it's been proven in a lot of different studies, but this is where the experimenting comes in, because some people might find that they need carbs, right, when they train. They might not have energy, or they might feel sluggish throughout their day, that kind of a thing. So I would start by keeping it more of a protein-based pre-workout, or like the meal before, protein and vegetables, and then experiment with it for 2 weeks. See how you feel. Do I have enough energy when I train? Do I, you know, feel good? Am I recovering well? Am I sleeping well? All those different factors, and we can talk about that more, like, and kind of help you along with that. And if you are, then that's the way to go with you, right? If not, then maybe you do have to add a little bit of carbohydrates in it, see how your training is, see how that goes, and then, you know, how do you feel, and then we can go from there. And it's always kind of adjusting and tweaking depending on that stuff. And the reason why I put this chart up here, because Precision Nutrition, right, it's my certifying company thing.
Mm-hmm.
And their idea is, you can see it kind of goes along with that, is they want to keep your carbs after you work out, right? So 1 to 2 hours after you work out. So that's when your muscles are primed and ready to kind of absorb all the good stuff from the carbs and put them there instead of storing as fat. So what are some things that we can go to? So Dawn, what kind of time are you working with? Like, how close are you between wherever you're leaving and hitting your training session? Like, what window would you be eating in?
Somewhere around 3 o'clock. I leave work at 3 and I go to the gym at 4. So
about an hour.
About an hour, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so all of these would be a really good kind of go-to thing. The only reason why I asked is if it was like 20 minutes, right, you would have to experiment with like, what can I digest really quickly? And the only things that I would say would I know are like pretty good for that would be like a smaller protein shake, just protein and water, like protein and almond milk. The BCAAs, right? Have you ever tried the BCAAs? Have you ever had anything like that?
No.
No. So that's almost like when you think of like a pre-workout, it's a pre-workout and a intra-workout. So you would sip it while you work out, but it doesn't have a lot of the stimulants that you'll see in like a lot of pre-workouts that like crazy people take. And I've taken them before and they've crushed me. I've like died after that.
Wow.
But it's basically the smallest, they're called branched chain amino acids, which is the smallest building block of the protein. So that kind of give you a little bit of energy, and it can also protect your muscles without weighing you down with something in your stomach. Okay. And then always coffee's a really good go-to. Like if you like forgot something, you just pick up like a little bit of coffee. And that usually can help power you through it. That's probably one of the best pre-workout things you could have. So Greek yogurt, right? Hard-boiled eggs, turkey roll-ups, some hummus, a little bit of vegetables, maybe some cottage cheese. Oftentimes I have like a rotisserie chicken in the, what's that called? The fridge? I was almost calling it the freezer box. Like, what am I talking about? And I'll like take a couple pieces, put it in a baggie, and I'll just have it there so I can just like quickly eat something. And that's once again when I have like 20 minutes or 15 minutes for my workout.
Okay.
And then on the other side, right, there's the protein, there's the fat, there's the carb combination. So remember, you want to try to go protein for the most part, see how you feel, and then we can go the other way. And that's where you could have like the rice cake with a little bit of peanut butter, which is more of like a carb fat combo. It'll digest a little bit slower, which will be the same thing with the Ezekiel bread. And then you can always have like overnight oats with a little bit of protein powder in there too, so you can get a combination of both. That's a good one, as long as you're keeping the serving a little bit smaller. So I know sometimes that digests slower, so a little bit smaller on that end. Always fruit. You can make a DIY energy or protein bar. Glenn Urie, remember Glenn? He has some really good recipes that I could get for you if you want them. I'll send them over. And then Kelly makes some really good protein pancakes, which are really good cold. So I could also get that recipe as well and ask her to share that. Those are a good go-to as well, like just 1 or 2 of those in the car right as you're going. Good. Does that help?
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so
all right,
much.
good. I was going, going at you guys hard, but all right, good. And then, Dawn, just let me know, keep me updated whether it's email or call, and then we can kind of explore that a little bit more, see how you're feeling after a week and how that's working for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, cool.